We are reading the hand of a 60-year-old male, and I would be speaking about only three things in this particular video regarding him. He has a Simian line. Simian lines are very different kind of lines that are seen on a particular palm. The Girdle of Venus is also a line basically that is not that doesn't show up in every hand, but in this case the line is a little bit different, and the Jupiter line. So these three lines we would be talking about in this particular palm reading video. The first line that we talked about is the Simian line. This is the Simian line that we are referring to. Now I have to tell you that what a normal palm would look like, what a normal person's lines are going to look like. I'm just going to show that, and then I'm going to show what he has in his palm. A normal person might have a headline something like this and a heart line something like this. This is not normal. There can be variations, but it is hard to find a person who just has one line out here. So having just one line makes a person very difficult, a different kind of a person. I'm not saying difficult, but a different kind of a personality altogether. And the person would be reacting to certain things and in a very different way. The reason being, the person doesn't have two independent headline and the heart line. Headline is for your thought process, and the heart line is for your feelings. So that makes it very normal to have two independent lines. But this is when the line become different, when both lines, the head and the heart line, are merged into one. They have basically become one. This is one thing which is different. Now, what is said about these kind of people is that they can be extremely good friends, and they could be extremely good enemies. They may have a total tilt in their personality, either towards totally being emotional or being totally headstrong by nature. Now the thing is that because it is running from one end to the other, the Simian line is running from one end to the other, it is kind of subdividing the hand into two parts, the upper part and the lower part. So there are planets on the upper part: Mercury, Sun, Saturn, and Jupiter. And this is the area for Mars, and the area of mount of Moon and the mount of Venus. So if there is a major line in the middle, so what is happening is that it is totally subdividing the hand into two. Imagine the situation of a normal person. They would have something like this. This is the heart line and this is the headline. So what would happen is that the energies are able to pass through out here much more easily. Or the energies, the love energies or other energies, the imagination part is kind of getting interlinked with the other planets in a much easier way. So this is one way of explaining. The other way of explaining is that I'm just showing you a comparison. This is the heart line and this is the line of a line of head. Now let's take an example. A person has to make a decision. The people generally make decisions in their life, and while making their decisions, they are using their head, the thought process, and the line of heart, that is the feelings. So every decision that we are making is made up of two things. It is basically the thoughts and the feelings. And the middle area, this is the middle area. This is where both feelings and thought process basically come together and they form the decision. So if there's a good kind of a gap, then basically the person is taking a very balanced kind of a decision. But once there is merging of the headline with the heartline, we don't even know where the heartline is and where the headline is. They are merging into one, it basically means that the thoughts and the feeling merge into one. There's no gap in the middle. So the decisions are going to be extremely tilted by nature to either towards purely and purely the heart, or purely and purely the head, the headstrong nature, extremely headstrong nature, or totally being emotional. So this is one way of looking at it. Now every person who might have a Simian line may have variations in the Simian line. Now Simian lines are also not that there's only one kind of a Simian line. The thing is that there's a very clear-cut indication that this is a Simian line, but apart from this Simian line, there also appears to be this particular line that we are referring to. This is the line that we are referring to, and this is the Girdle of Venus that we will be talking later, but we are talking just about this particular line that is kind of going something like this. Now what is happening is that if there was only one Simian line, the Simian line that we are referring to, this is the line that we are referring to, then the personality would be guided by what I've already described regarding the Simian line. But having another line, something like this, makes a person a little bit more different by nature. What I mean is that this would also be considered to be another heart line, although because the quality and the depth and clarity of this particular line is not so great compared to this particular line. This is the Simian line. So that's the reason why we would say that it is a mix of having a Simian line as well as another line of heart. So this is the line of heart that we are seeing. So if a person does have another line of heart, it would make them extra emotional by nature, extra sensitive by nature, and their feelings are running on two different planes. It is running, so it would make them very different kind of a personality. Now this particular, if we are considering this particular line to be another Simian line, although we may consider this line to be the Girdle of Venus, but because generally what happens is a Girdle of Venus looks something like this. It doesn't look something like this. So we would call this particular line to be a sister line of heart, another heart line, and it makes a person very emotional and sensitive, and or the person's heart is on two different boats. What it basically means is on two different boats is something like if you are on one boat and in ocean, you are likely and if you are on two boats in ocean, you are likely to topple. If you are in a total still waters, imagine you are in still waters totally, and still you are standing on two different boats, the likelihood of toppling also increases with time. Probably you may be able to stabilize yourself for 5, 10, 15, 20 minutes, but then you're going to fall down in water if you have one leg on one boat and another leg on another boat. So this is what is indicated by the double heart line also. So two different planes of emotions that you are running in your life. Now this line is a little bit more unique as well. The reason why I say it is unique is because the heart line is kind of originating on the mount of Mercury. Okay, so this is the mount of Mercury. Now I would show you a normal kind of a heart line, what a normal kind of a heart line would look like. A normal heart line would start from the edge out here, and it would be running something like this. But in this case, what is happening is that the heart line is kind of purely originating on the mount of Mercury, something like this, and that's how it is basically running. So what heart gets is that heart gets the qualities of the Mercury. That heart is inspired by the Mercury. And the heart is getting the qualities of Mercury, and Mercury is all about communication, calculations, skill, statistics, economics, biology, chemistry. So it doesn't mean that the person have all those interests, but certainly the person would be very good at what they are basically doing. Now, I'm just giving you an example, something like unrelated kind of example. If you take a look at the hand of Warren Buffett, he has a heart line something like this, and he has got another line something this kind of a formation. So he is basically an investor, and he's very good at calculating, and he has always been very good at calculating. So the calculation part comes from the area of Mercury, and this part basically becomes a very, very prominent area in his life. So same goes out here as well. So it may make a person very different and from others when the heart line is originating, and some special abilities may come in their life. It doesn't mean that those abilities are going to come in the future, but they have always been there with this particular person in some way or the other. So this is what I have explained regarding the Simian line. Now, Simian line, you would notice that this line does have like island-like formation out here. Islands are a little bit negative kind of a formation, and islands basically mean elongated period of emotional stress and anxiety on this line as well. This is, if we consider this to be the heart line, there appears to be an island. Island again is kind of a negative sign, and specifically under the finger of sun, it basically concerns the eyes or the heart. So that's where the person should be careful. And there appears to be one or two islands out here on the Simian line. So this again can be seen as a little bit negative sign. And towards the end, this line is kind of leaning a little bit inwards, pointing towards the mount of Mars negative. Now, Mars negative is the area of anger, aggression, and fire. And imagine a situation that if this whole line, if consider this to be, don't consider this now to be the line of Simian, but let's consider only to be the line of heart. So if it is kind of pointing towards the mount of Mars negative, so Mars is basically the area for anger, aggression, fire. So this is the line of relationship, and the line of relationship, if it is entering the area for Mars, so it is something like a fiery kind of a relationship that the person may have. So this is one way of looking at it. The other way, let's take it from the point of view of the head. Let's consider this to be the headline. If we consider this to be the headline originating on the mount of Mars negative, again, mind is getting inspired by the qualities of the Mars negative. So anger is entering the mind, and anger entering the mind is a negative sign, because when we get angry, the chances of taking wrong decisions increases. So we need to be more cool and calm. If we remain cool and calm, the chances of success basically increases. So this is what is being indicated by this particular Simian line that I have just explained. Now let's move to the part of the Girdle of Venus. Now, Girdle of Venus is a line that is a little bit different from others. So it relates to unrealistic fantasies. One of the things is unrealistic fantasies. And it can make a person hysterical. Hysterical basically is when our emotions are going really up and then dipping downwards, going up again and dipping downwards. So the feeling of sinking might be there, the feeling of like huge upward motion in the emotions and then dipping downwards. So these kind of emotions are a little bit unstable kind of emotions. Although every line can be seen as a good aspect or the bad aspect, depending upon what profession they are doing. Now, as I'm told that he is into graphic designing or something like that. So, or let's take example, if somebody has to do photography. So if a person has to do photography, then they could be really good. They could bring up really good photographic skills, and it happens because the emotions are running really up and down. So they would be able to capture those emotions in a very, very different way. They know the different kind of emotions that are there. These people do not have stale kind of emotion, but very, very different kind of emotions are there, and in a day-to-day life, let's take a day-to-day life, it may hamper and create problems, the girdle of Venus. But let's say if a person is into photography or modeling or acting or something like this, there very different kind of emotions are likely to come about. Now, because a person does have this particular line, although this is not the line of writing skills, because he mentioned that he wants to be, he wants to publish a book or something like this. So because his own emotions are very up and down, so his writing is also likely to have those ups and downs in his writing, and that could be that could make the what he's writing a very, very different kind of a writing, and which nobody has seen or nobody might have heard. So this is what and it is all happening because the person is different from inside. Now let's take the third aspect. We had talked about the Simian line, the Girdle of Venus. The third line that I referred to was the lines of the Jupiter lines. Now this is the area for Jupiter. What is Jupiter? Jupiter is a big planet. Big planet means in astrology or palmistry, it means growth, expansion, honor, respect in your life, position and power in your life, government and governance in your life. So if a person does have good lines over the mount of Jupiter, it means that the person would always be in the governing position. This area, the mount of Jupiter, is also associated with spirituality as well. So you would notice there are lines something like these, which are kind of joining the lifeline, or they may be joining the headline. They are so close we can't make out if it's joining the headline or the lifeline. Let's take if it is joining the lifeline. If it joins the lifeline, it means the life is getting guided by Jupiter. Life getting guided by Jupiter means the person is seeking the qualities what Jupiter represents. It represents administration, religion, politics, honor, power. All these things are basically depicted by Jupiter. So all throughout one's life, the person would be sitting at a high position, honorable position, and the person would be put to good use in a high position. Now, although these lines are joining at a very initial stage of your life, this portion of life is the initial stage. This point could be approximately, let's say, 20, 23, like roughly 20, sorry. So it can be 20, but because the line is starting right from an early age, that means right from an early age, the person would be getting high position, honor, respect all throughout their life. So although it is in the initial portion of the life, but that's going to remain throughout one's life. So it's a very, very positive line to have. Not many people may have such a deep, clear kind of a line. Now there's one line, there's another line, and there's another line. So these 2 or 3 lines are there. All of these lines are considered to be good. The deeper the line, the better it is considered to be. So it is all about position, power, respect, honor in every aspect of your life. It need not be only that the person is doing a government job. It could also be when the person is young, the person becomes a monitor, a prefect, or in college or school, or is organizing thing, and all these kind of things are basically depicted by the mount of Jupiter. Jupiter is a very, very important planet, and the person maybe at some point of time they move towards the spiritual aspect of their life. Jupiter is higher knowledge. Higher knowledge doesn't mean nuclear science. Higher knowledge basically means that what basically the religion is telling us. Religion is telling us how to lead our life in a much more better way. So this is what the religion, and it kind of simplifies our life also. And the basic principles of life basically come from the Jupiter planet, and it is and if there are good lines over the mount of Jupiter, the chances of one's success always increases, past, present, and the future. So in this video I discussed 3 things: the Girdle of Venus, the Simian line, another heart line, and the third is those Jupiter lines. Thank you for watching this particular video. I hope you like this particular video, and I would also making another video. In that particular video, I would be talking about the Mercury line and the Sun lines, and the third line that I would be referring to is regarding the lifeline and these branches that you see out here on the lifeline. So please wait for that particular video as well. And bye, thank you for watching, bye and take care.